and the Round Podcast. Chris Kelly and BB Shea here. Let me tell you. Oh, how are you?
I'm great. They never thought it'd be done, man.
No, they never thought
6 episodes.
They never thought.
Yeah.
Is this the 6th episode?
This is, yes.
Oh, my God. And they get better and better. I got a lot of comments on last week's episode.
Really?
Yes. People were angry that you wanted to do away with Memorial Day and Labor Day.
Of course.
Which that was your thing. You said overrated or underrated holidays.
Yeah.
And I was like, which holiday? And you said, well, I think we could make Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July all into one.
Maybe just a long weekend or something.
Yeah, a long holiday. And I said, you're going to get backlash on that. And you did. Okay, you got some backlash on that, and that was fine. Here's what I think's overrated this week. And I've got a piece of audio to play. Did it on the radio show earlier this week, and I find it a very funny piece of audio. Tracy Morgan, the comedian and actor, was on the Today Show with Hoda Kotb and Jenna Bush Hager.
Recently?
Yes, this week. Five or six days ago. So I don't even know what he's promoting, but they were talking to him about, oh, you look good, you've lost weight. Well, it turns out he's on Ozempic.
Nice.
Which I'm recommending to you again.
Of course.
All right, fine. Do what you wish.
Yes.
Do a little stomach stab.
It's not my style. It's not my style.
No, that's not your style. You're right. But he says he's on Ozempic, and his delivery is, I'm on Ozempic. So they think he's joking. So listen to what they say to him, because they think, oh, everything's a big joke with him.
By the way, you've been working on your body and on your health.
No, that's Ozempic. That's how this week got lost.
You're not. Are you really on Ozempic?
Ozempic. We ain't got a prescription, and I got Ozempic.
No, you did. Wait. Are you really on Ozempic?
Yeah.
Oh.
It brought the show to a screeching halt. Everything stopped right there.
It's like, no, it was me.
You are. I think he is overrated.
Tracy Morgan.
Don't find him funny that's the funniest thing I've ever heard him do. He didn't even mean to do it. I watched that show with Tina Fey.
30 Rock.
Yeah. And I liked everything about it except him. I think every single thing he says I find annoying.
I could see that. He's very matter of fact. Yeah. Doesn't really hold anything back. I can't really speak on Tracy Morgan. I'm not well delved into him, honestly.
Yeah. So, I knew you were going to do overrated, underrated. So when I heard that clip this week, I said, you know what? That's something I think is overrated.
Okay.
So I'll say that to start with.
I have a similar take about Dave Chappelle.
Oh, you think Dave Chappelle's overrated?
Yes, and I know this is a weird thing to say, and it's tough to say, but I think Dave Chappelle is a great comedian.
Mm-hmm.
I think since the Chappelle show, I think he's just been kind of like, I don't know. I just don't think he tries that hard.
Along,
yes, and I know that's such a weird thing to say because I can't say for sure, but I really don't think that he puts his all into his comedy specials.
Now, let me stop you there. I'm someone who doesn't put my all into my job.
Fair.
Okay.
I don't either most of the time, honestly.
Let me just say, I'm going to have to side.
Whoa.
I'll tell you, I don't know that much about Dave Chappelle. Everybody loves him.
Sure.
Everybody. I know guys who are like, oh, the Chappelle show was so good.
Absolutely.
That's another one I just checked out.
I think it's one of the best shows, best written comedy shows ever.
Yeah.
And I will never take that away from him. But I just think since that, I just don't think he's been giving his all. I think he could be a lot better than he actually is.
Well, I've never seen the Chappelle show. And
really?
and I hear everybody loves it. It's like I've told you a couple of weeks ago, The Office. I've never seen one episode of The Office.
So you're missing out there.
Well,
man.
A lot of people say that.
Well, okay, so you said you don't give your all. So let me ask you this. Are you overrated?
Oh, 100%. Oh, my God. Good Lord. Good Lord, yes.
100% overrated.
Every day, when I do any kind of job, anything, I always go home and think, how, why? Yeah. I mean, I'm always surprised when I come back the next day and the door opens. They haven't changed the lock. Yeah, I'm overrated. Are you kidding?
At least you can admit it,
My
man.
God,
at least you can
of course.
Admit it.
Do you think Dave Chappelle, I know the things I know about him is the things I've heard from him are really funny. I mean, like the stand-up clips here and there. And then I've heard the show is incredibly funny. Do you think he was wrong? Because I liked this personally. He did the thing on Netflix that was pretty controversial.
Yes, yeah.
I didn't even see that. What I liked about it was he didn't just back down from it. He did his material and then said, well, go lump it. It was and a lot of trans people said, oh, it's anti-trans. And I like that Netflix didn't back down from it. It's like, all right, we're going to stand by this. Because so many times now people run from that kind of stuff.
It's such an easy thing to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I like people who don't apologize, especially comedians.
Yeah.
Because I think they should be left alone just to try to be funny.
Yes.
You know, I don't think that anything.
I totally agree.
I don't think anything that he did was based out of hatred. I think it was for the intent to try to be funny.
Yeah.
And Patrice O'Neal, one of my favorite comedians of all time, has always said, I think people should just be left to try to be funny.
I agree. And may he rest. What a great comedian.
Man, he's one of my favorites.
He was great.
He was great.
He could do, and he's not all that well known.
No, he's not.
Do you know that I'm going to turn this political for a moment?
Okay.
Because I do that.
Let me get ready for this.
You're not political because you don't even vote.
Not at all.
You've said you don't even vote.
No,
Nobody, so you'll never be called to jury duty and all that. Nope. There's a guy running on the Republican side named Vivek Ramaswamy. Have you heard of him?
Never heard of the name.
No, no. Of course not. He is the third vote getter. I mean, right now in the polls, he's running third. Trump's number one. This is in the Republican side. Number two is the Florida governor, Ron DeSantis, but a long way behind Trump. And then right behind him is this guy, Vivek Ramaswamy. I know almost nothing about him. You know Martha, who works up here in sales?
Yeah, I know Martha, yeah.
Martha texted me one day and said, you should vote for Vivek Ramaswamy. So I am. All right?
That's how easily swayed you are?
I don't care. I am. Because I think it's such a crap show, the whole thing, period.
Let's just get some new blood in there.
Yeah, okay.
You know what? I'm not even mad at you. I 100% understand.
I mean, we've seen the Trump show.
Yeah.
We know what we have now, which is old and doddering.
Yeah.
And I think DeSantis, I don't know that much about him, but I think he's kind of wooden, and I don't see much personality. And so when Martha said, vote for Vivek Ramaswamy, I said, okay, I will.
I'm going to do that.
I'm so easily swayed. When I went to vote last time around, this was November of whenever year, and I went to the polls. I guess I was early voting. I can't remember. But anyway, no, it must have been day of because I was there, and it was some, fairly small thing like, city council or whatever. And this woman came up to me and said, you should vote for a write-in candidate named such and such. And I said, all right.
Why not?
And she goes, seriously? I was the first person that said,
she said, yeah, I'll do it.
And she said, seriously? And I said, yeah, I'll do it. And she goes, why? I said, well, I don't know anything about the other two guys. And you're here. I said, well, yeah, I'll do it.
He's got people vouching for him. He must be doing something right,
She
I guess.
handed me a piece of paper and said, here's how you spell his name. So I had to commit that to memory. I don't think you can take anything in there with you. So I committed it to memory and spelled his name properly. And he got like 216 votes. And
his name wasn't D's Nuts, was it?
Yeah, I voted for D's Nuts. He didn't win. He didn't win.
Do you remember that? Do you remember a few years back when people were voting in North Carolina and D's Nuts got like 15% of the votes?
It was a low moment for a low bar for us. But no, some guy and the woman. It turned out to be his daughter. I found out the next day it was his daughter was out there campaigning for him. Oh, and she goes, "You ought to vote for this guy." I said, "All right." And you should have seen the stunned look in her eye. Like, what do you mean? And I said, "Yeah, I'll do it. I'll vote for him. Why not? My vote." Because right now I am so disillusioned with everything. I just told Martha I'll do it. Here's why I talk about Vivek Ramaswamy. I read an article about him the other day, and I didn't see it, so I don't know if it's true, but the way it was described was like this. We were talking about, he was giving a speech, and he's very conservative, but he's giving a speech somewhere where he's campaigning, Iowa or somewhere, and a trans or pansexual woman stopped him and said, I want your opinion on this. And the crowd started to boo. And he said, wait, I want to hear her speak. And then she did. And she said whatever. And he gave his opinion really eloquently, but very conservative. And then he said, now I want to hear what your opinion is on it. And she gave her opinion civilly. Yeah. And he goes, I love this exchange. And this is such a great country. We're in America where you can have that polar opposite opinion from me, and I can be opposite of you, but we can sit here and have a discussion civilly. And I thought, well, here's a guy that has, some sense.
That's refreshing to hear.
Some sense.
Because I think that a lot of politics are based on I'm right, you're wrong.
Of course.
And seeing somebody come out and try to, approach it from both sides, that's good to hear.
Well, I just like that. I mean, he was absolutely as conservative as they come, and he's young. He's like 37, 38 years old. And he's apparently some sort of brilliant entrepreneur. I don't even know much about him. I know Martha endorses him. And nobody, you don't know who. Martha works here. Yeah. She endorsed him, and I said, okay, I'll vote for him. And then the one thing I've seen of him is it seems like he's got some sense and that at least he'll hear the other side and say, isn't this a great country where you and I can talk about it and not be down each other's throats, which usually we are.
That's nice, but I'm sure he has like a Snowflake Gets Pwned compilation video on YouTube where he just kills a whole bunch of, liberals and debates and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know I do. I don't know. People call me a snowflake. I'm too scared of anything. I never take any kind of. You told me last week. This hurt, by the way. You told me last week that when the show was over, the podcast was over, I said, how'd you think it went? You said, you really never come up with a hot take, do you? To me. And I was like, no, I guess I don't. Yeah. I thought about it all week. It grinds on me all week.
That was my intention. I need a hot take from you. The Tracy Morgan was a good start, but it wasn't super hot.
No, that's not too hot. I don't like him. I gave a take on the radio show this week. I'm watching this show called Painkiller with Matthew Broderick. Have you heard of it?
Love it. Finished it already.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
You've seen it.
Seen it already, yeah.
It's the history of, what's Oxycontin.
Oxycontin, yeah.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
I can't say I didn't like it. I thought it was overrated.
Okay.
I heard a lot about it.
Okay. Here's my thing about the show for those of you who have seen it. I think the side story with the dude who gets addicted, Taylor Kitsch, was completely unnecessary. I wish they would have paid more attention to the trial and the outcome of that because...
Well, now, I've only seen 2 episodes. Let me say that first of all.
Sure.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
But, I think his whole part was completely unnecessary.
That's what I'm enjoying the most.
Really?
I'm enjoying... And at first I couldn't figure out who it was. In fact, I didn't know it was Taylor Kitsch until right now. Yeah. He was in Friday Night Lights? Am I right?
I think so. I think he was. Yeah.
I watched that show.
Yeah.
So I saw him and I was like, that is Chris Pratt. And my wife said, that is not Chris Pratt. I said, that is Chris Pratt.
I will put money on it.
I said, money on the line, that's Chris Pratt. My wife said a lot of people are talking about this show Painkiller, which is about the history of Oxycontin in America and how it was created. And she said, I think you'll really like it. And we watched the first episode. And she goes, I'm into it. And I said, I'm not. And I was surprised because it's informative. It's very, I'm learning something. So we went through a second episode and I said, I'm going to let this go. And she goes, oh, I'm going to watch it. And I think I will continue it because I am interested in it. I read a stat today that we've had so much of a crisis when it comes to painkillers, drugs, alcohol, that like 2/3 of Americans know someone who is badly addicted to alcohol or painkillers. Good God.
That's a wild fact.
It is.
That's a wild stat.
But that the story, I mean, very few people, I guess, have seen it, but it's called Painkiller. It's on Netflix, and it's the story of the guy who came up with Oxycontin, and basically said, now this I've seen, and I did. When he said it, I was like, boy, this is really true. All anybody wants to do is go from pain to pleasure, and we need to put ourselves in between pain and pleasure.
Yes,
and we can sell everybody.
Yes,
on it. And it's true.
It was
really,
yes. It was
disgusting to see how they're doing it.
And you just see there's just scenes in there that go from one. It's just
that's disgusting.
It's such a weird thing, man. And
it's disgusting. What it's educated me on is I used to think to myself, and now it's fentanyl, and it was Oxycontin for a long time. I would think to myself, well, why are you taking it? You know how bad it is for you at this point, but they get you hooked on its heroin.
It's heroin. That's essentially what it is.
That man should be in prison. I don't know what's happened to him.
Yeah.
He should be in prison for his whole life. He basically put heroin in a fancy package and got doctors to give it to everybody.
And sold it as aspirin, essentially.
Jesus. I mean, it is a terrible... Matthew Broderick plays... Sackler is his name.
Terrible.
Matthew Broderick.
I hate Matthew Broderick so much. He is the worst actor. After seeing this show, he is so bad.
I think he's terrible in this show.
He is terrible.
I agree.
I don't know. He tries to do that Ferris Bueller charm, but
awful.
He's like 90 years old now.
I agree. Well, they make him look 90, that's for sure.
I hate
He's actually my age, and thank you. But
I hate him. I can't stand it.
I loved him in Ferris Bueller.
Yes.
And I've liked him in many other movies, but in this I think he's terrible.
No, he was terrible.
I agree.
He just does not sit well.
Do you know... This will be interesting to you, I think, about Matthew Broderick. I was reading an article about celebrities that have done things that either you don't know about or we sweep it under the rug. He was in a car accident with his, at that time, girlfriend, Jennifer Grey, that 2 people, or at least 1 person died in. I've got I looked at Matthew Broderick was in a car accident that killed 2 people. I think they were in France.
Did he serve any time for that?
No, and I think, now, I don't know this to be sure, but a friend of mine told me that he has read that the rumor is that she was giving him oral.
Oh.
And he was driving. They were in France. The accident was their fault. and 2 people died, and they were somewhat famous. They were dating. It was obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess. They better be.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was Matthew Broderick, Jennifer Grey. Jennifer Grey was in Dirty Dancing. They were hot at that time. It was late 80s.
For sure.
And he had come off Ferris Bueller and all that. And they were together in Europe and killed 2 people in a car accident. And the word is that she was blowing him when that happened.
So he's getting some dome, driving on the other side of the road in a foreign country, kills 2 people, and he's still acting.
Well, people sort of sweep it under the rug. I mean, celebrities get away with sometimes.
That was the 80s, though. If that were to happen today, it would have never heard.
You think that
never
would...
heard? I mean, like Alex, what was Alex? What's that dude's name? The guy who shot the woman.
Oh, God. Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin shot a woman, and he could probably never act again.
I agree with that. I don't believe he will. But, he's also hated. But I mean, half the people hate him.
And granted, it was an accident. He didn't mean to do it. But, I mean, he'll never act again. And I'm sure that was an accident, too.
It was an accident, yeah. But, of course, they're doing something wrong on the roadway.
Of course.
I wish I could. Hey, let me tell you, nobody's offering that to me these days. Never on the roadway.
No.
Never on the roadway.
Never on the roadway.
My friend...
It's dangerous, though.
Well,
I don't even want to risk it. It's dangerous.
I would risk it.
End up like Matthew Broderick, terrible actor.
But making a lot of money.
There,
And I would risk it. When I was younger... a friend of mine and I were talking about like craziest things you ever done, sex, you know. And he said, well, I've gotten it in the car, I've gotten head in the car. And I was like, really? And he goes, well, everybody's done that. I was like, oh, yeah.
Everybody has. Of course
I haven't. No, of course I haven't done that. There's a scene in the show Painkiller, talking about Matthew Broderick, where this guy Sackler is he has been interviewed, and the woman who's the main star, who I really like, she's good.
Phenomenal.
I think she's
phenomenal.
Really good. I don't even know who the actress is.
I can't remember her name, but she
like
was
her
in Orange Is the New Black. And
was she?
She was great.
Okay, then I've seen her before. Yes. So she's sitting there being interviewed, and she goes, "Did Sackler sit in my chair?" And they said, "Yeah, he sat there." And she goes, "I need a new chair." Yep. That's how bad it is.
Get it out of here.
And she gets it out of the room.
He said, "Throw it out of the room."
It is a disgusting. It's disgusting what he's done.
But you need to finish it, man.
I will
finish it up.
I'll finish it. How many episodes?
6.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah,
okay, well, I'm a third of the way in.
I watched it all on the plane last weekend.
You watched that whole thing?
Watched the whole thing on the plane.
Well, it's getting a lot of good reviews. It's called Painkiller.
Yeah,
it's on Netflix if you want to watch it. Now, do you have an overrated, underrated?
I've got a few over-unders for you.
Now, I like these. These are fun. Yeah.
We're going to start this off with food delivery services, DoorDash, Uber Eats, things
absolutely
like that.
Overrated.
Really?
I can't stand it. I don't even use it. And the fact that people spend money on it just is disgusting. I told you last week, one of my biggest character flaws is if you like it and I don't, I hate you for it.
Of course.
And soccer, pumpkin spice latte, that's the next on the list. I hate DoorDash. I hate Uber Eats. I've had one experience, and it was a bad one. With one of them.
Yeah.
And they were late, and it was the pizza was cold or whatever. And I swore off of it. I think if you're paying for that, you're basically lazy. Now, I know it's working well. I know it works well.
I'm telling you, man. Yeah. Like, I started using it during COVID, and I absolutely love it. Because this was my dream when I was a teenager, is to get McDonald's delivered.
Right.
And now it finally exists, and I'm just living like I'm 18 again.
But it's a terrible thing because you don't even have to get up and go get your
That's
McDonald's.
the beautiful thing about it. I was like,
that's awful.
No,
that's awful.
I do tell myself there's a little bit of laziness when I do it, but I don't care.
Well,
it's totally fine.
A little.
Yeah, I'll order some Mexican. I don't care about the fees either.
Well, that's your generation.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yes, you don't care about the fees.
Well, see, we don't care, and everybody gets tipped now. Doesn't matter what your profession is.
Yeah.
Everybody gets tipped now.
And I see them in their shower shoes and their sweatpants waiting for the stuff when I go in to order my food at some place. And I just look at them and go, this is disgusting.
I will tell the one thing that I don't like about food delivery service. I'll tell you this. I went to a Chipotle up the street.
Yeah.
This was about a month ago.
Yes.
I walked in, there was nobody in line, and the dude turned around to me. He goes, "You picking up an order?" I said, "No." And he goes, "Well, we're not taking orders unless it's delivery." And I said,
"You couldn't even walk in and get it?"
No, I was standing in line, and he would not take my order because it wasn't delivery. And he goes, "Yeah, you can't order unless it's delivery."
So stupid.
And I was like, "I'm here. I got money. Just it takes 5 seconds. Just do it." He goes, "Sorry, man, can't do it."
They literally turned down your money.
Turn me away.
I hate it.
Turn me away.
I hate it.
And I'm like, "Well, lock the door or something."
Well, I have two things. One, I do go to the $12 salad store,
but that's not too much. You get on to me for ordering food, but you will order a $12 salad.
I order a $12 salad, but you're ordering $12 at Chipotle.
Don't you think that's a little much? A $12
I do.
salad?
It's too expensive. But everything's expensive.
That's right.
I'm just saying I'm going to go in and get it so I can save myself the $5 delivery charge.
But I mean, you can get a salad anywhere for a lot cheaper.
Well, I have really started to. I've started to go to the grocery store and get a salad for $5.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Okay, well, all right.
But when I go in there and I go up and I'm ready to order, they say it'll be one moment, and they're making 9 orders in front of me because it's delivery or pickup, and I'm like, my God, I'm standing here in line for 30 minutes, and I'm the first one in line. That makes me mad.
I can understand that.
The second thing is I went to Chipotle, which I think is incredibly overrated. I don't like Chipotle. Overrated.
Okay. All right, that's a hot take. That's a very hot take.
In fact, of all those restaurants, it's my least favorite.
Okay.
I know it was first.
Yeah.
I've been probably 5 or 6 times. Now, my son likes it. He's starting to turn on to it.
Barbaritos is just as good, man.
Better.
Love it.
Salsaritas is better.
Yeah.
Much better, in my opinion. I like Salsaritas. I like Barbaritos. Chipotle, I think, is not good. I don't like going. When I was in there recently, I went because I was right beside the gym where I go. I was going to pick one up, and I had ordered on the app. And I went in there, and it didn't come up. That's when I saw the delivery drivers go over and get their stuff. So finally, I said to the manager, and it was really busy. It was lunchtime. And I said, can you tell me where the food is? And he goes, it was out here earlier. And I said, well, I didn't get it. Well, you know what happens is, and he told me this happens when they're busy. People just come in off the street and grab and take it.
Do you know how many times I've wanted to do that? Like I've walked into Jersey Mike's before, and there's just 10 subs sitting. I'm like, I can just grab this thing and leave. Nobody would ask me any questions.
Nobody, and they don't. And he said when it's not. The guy told me when it's not busy, we monitor it, but when it's busy, I don't have anybody monitoring it.
For sure.
And he's like, somebody comes in the side door right there, they just grab. And there was another woman sitting there, didn't get hers. They grabbed 2 of them, mine and hers. Yeah. And I was just like, well, good God, what's going on?
Well, there's one way to alleviate that for you. Just have it delivered to the house.
Have it delivered to the
Just
house.
DoorDash you to the house. Don't even go pick it up.
Yeah, I guess that's then the DoorDasher has
lower
to
your morals a little bit and get on the common man level. Just have it delivered to the house.
I don't think that's common man. I think I'm not paying for that. I go out and pick up pizza. I haven't had pizza.
Not leaving the house and having food delivered. That's so common, man.
Well, it's expensive. I just think it's such a waste. I think and I saw that movie when my kids were young, WALL-E, where they're all like all these fat people that sit around and do nothing, and I think that's what we're becoming.
Yes,
I think that's what we're becoming, and it's unfortunate. By the way, my son, who's now going off to college, did I tell you that? Did your parents cry when they dropped you off at college?
No,
they did not.
They were so excited.
I could see.
They said, "Just get the hell out. Just get the hell out." Well, see, I went to community college for 3 years.
Yes.
Right. So,
you did.
My time in college, like I was still living at home.
Yeah.
So by the time I actually went off to a 4-year university, they were like, "Get the hell out of here, bro."
And you're back at home now.
Yeah, and I'm back at home. They're still doing the same thing. Just get the hell out of here, bro.
They just can't get rid of you.
Yeah, they can't get rid of me.
I was at the gym, and this guy said to me, it was at the end of the class, we do a class thing, and we're stretching, and a guy who was in there said, my son's name's Ben, and he said, aren't you taking Ben to college this Saturday? And that was the time. And I started crying just right there. When he said that, which I had not done before, I hadn't really, people have been asking me for a while, when you taking him that. And as soon as he said it, for whatever reason, just at that time, it hit me, and I started crying. He's like, oh, man, talk about awkward.
Yeah.
He gave me a sweat towel to dry. It was really, really awkward.
Together, bro.
It was very awkward.
No, okay, this is something I want to ask you about, too. And I've been noticing this about myself. Mm-hmm. As you get older, do you find yourself crying a lot more to different things?
Yeah.
I cry once a week.
Do you?
Just at the most random things.
Did you cry in Barbie?
I did not cry in Barbie. I cried at the Arizona Diamondback Stadium the other day.
How was the trip?
It was a great time. It was a great time. It was hot. So it was the 25th anniversary of the franchise.
Which you don't care about because you're a Yankees fan.
Bro, they did this whole tribute to the 2001 championship team. I was sitting in there. I was fuming. I bet
you were very upset.
But so they started paying tribute to the people who had worked at the stadium for the past 25 years.
Yeah.
And they would go down the line, and it would just be these random people. And I'm like, these people dedicated their entire lives to this franchise, and this is the biggest moment of their life. And I just started bawling.
Yes.
I'm like, I wish I could be a part of something like that, you know?
Yeah. Oh, well,
That's so awesome. And then Randy Johnson came out.
Oh, did he
I started
really?
crying at Randy Johnson. I don't care anything about Randy Johnson.
No, he beat you in 01.
I don't care a thing about Randy Johnson, but I was just crying, dude. It was the weirdest thing.
The fact that the Yankees didn't win that World Series was stunning.
It was
2 months after 9/11.
It was supposed to happen.
I mean, and that series, that's one of the best World Series I've ever seen.
Yeah, 7 games, right?
7
walk
games. Walk off.
That punk ass was there too. I wanted to run the field and slap that dude.
Luis Gonzalez.
He looks terrible, by the way. He looks terrible, man.
That series, the Diamondbacks win the first 2 games in Arizona. Then they come back to Yankee Stadium. The Yankees win 2 incredible games in Yankee Stadium. They win all 3. Diamondbacks go back, beat them in Game 6 like 14-1. Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling team up to pitch Game 7, and they win in a walk-off by a run. Rivera, they brought the infield in. Otherwise, the shortstop catch that. Yeah. Rivera made a throwing error, and that killed him in that inning. Do you remember that? He threw to second base.
See, I just remember the hit. I don't remember the whole inning.
There's a man on first, and Rivera was hit back to the mound, and he threw to second and pulled the guy off second base. And that's
okay.
And that really hurt. So you're there crying at this.
Yeah.
And did you enjoy the baseball?
Great game. We got to see play the Padres. And
did you like the stadium?
Stadium was great. It's huge.
And I know you ate like a pig. That's where you go to these stadiums.
Yes.
What did you have?
Phoenix is my new favorite food city, by the way. I didn't even eat that much at the stadium. The one thing that I had at the stadium, it was called a churro dog. So it was like a Long John donut split in half with the churro in the middle and ice cream and whipped cream on top of it. It was incredible.
Was it as good as that? Didn't you have a Fruit Loop dog?
Hot dog with Fruit Loops on it?
Yeah.
It was definitely better than that.
Really?
Yes. I would have that churro dog again.
Was that Chicago?
That was Cleveland, actually.
Cleveland had the Fruit Loop
Cleveland
dog.
had the Fruit Loop
What's your
dog.
favorite baseball stadium now?
So far, it's PNC in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I've heard it's underrated.
It's absolutely amazing.
That's underrated.
Very underrated. The city of Pittsburgh is underrated.
I agree. I've been to Pittsburgh once. I saw, I'm a Broncos fan. I saw the Broncos and Steelers play many years ago.
Yeah.
Good stadium.
Yeah.
And good, really good city. I agree.
Fantastic city. Walkable, great food, great people.
Yes,
Love it.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
So, and did you find this stadium in Arizona underrated or overrated?
It was underrated. I think I would definitely go back. It's when you look at it from the outside, it looks like an NFL stadium.
Yeah,
it's absolutely humongous.
Yeah,
and it's all a dome. You get inside, it's air conditioned.
It has to be. It's so hot.
Feels great, man.
Do you believe that global warming has made? I mean, this summer is supposed to be do you blame us for doing that? There's another controversy.
I don't blame us for anything.
I
don't blame us for anything.
You don't blame the humans
for I think people,
now there's a hot take.
I think people forget how old the world is, and I think that we forget we tend to just compartmentalize history into U.S. history.
Yeah.
Just us living here.
Yeah.
And I think that we forget how old the world is and how much the world's been through, and I think we'll be okay.
So you think do you think I have some people say this, and I think I might agree with this. Now, a lot of science says this is the hottest, and it's getting hotter, and we've got to turn it around. Okay.
Yeah, but this science has only been around for
100 years.
300 or 400 years.
I think less.
Yeah, less than that.
Honestly, do you think we could be, like, if we had the records from 400 years ago, maybe hotter?
Absolutely.
And maybe it cools down 200 years from now. It may be cooler.
It's been so much hotter than this at one point. It's been so much colder than the coldest.
You think that's true?
Yes.
Interesting.
I think
because we only look at the last 150 years, and it's a million years.
Exactly. And I think that we as humans just go, this is our little part of history.
Yeah.
But we don't think about the grander scheme of things, how old things are, how big this entire thing is. We're so irrelevant, man.
I don't know that's. I can't prove it's not the hottest it's ever been.
Yeah.
I have that feeling that might be. You may be right about that.
I think that the world has been through a lot worse and better than us.
I wonder if, whenever the ice ages were 1,000 years ago, whenever that was, I wonder if we had the technology now that we had, then that we have that, would they say, oh, it's global cooling? The world is getting too cold. You know what I'm saying?
But I think there has been a point in time where the civilizations have been more technologically advanced than us. And something cataclysmic has happened that's wiped it all out, and it will happen again.
My God,
100%.
Boy, that's a weirdo take.
I know it is. It's a stoner take.
You've
but
gone
I
hot
truly
and
believe that.
Are you stoned?
No,
did you bring back some dro?
I could have
from Arizona.
I wasn't trying to get called on the plane, man.
My God,
no, I 100% believe that. Yeah,
you're really out there. With your every week. People say to me, "What's BB Shea?" I'm getting to know him more and more. It's frightening. It's very, you're not just this simple little. Man,
I'm telling you,
you're more than that.
I got stuff going on, bro.
Give me another overrated, underrated.
Oh.
No, we'll finish with the other.
Streaming television.
I think that's overrated.
Underrated 100%.
Let me tell you why I think that. I just read recently that for the first time ever, we are watching like less than 50% of our watching comes from television. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
But it doesn't. But I don't think that the streaming should count as television. You know, I mean,
I agree.
It's on a TV.
Yeah.
I guess what they mean by that is not from cable, not from. I don't know. I like Netflix. I watch like this show Painkiller, but until then, I hadn't watched anything since Stranger Things. You know, I just don't do that.
Sure.
I have YouTube TV, which I guess is considered streaming television.
I would say that. Yeah.
You know, but all it is the same channel. It's cable. It's done with a different way. But I watch so many shows. You know, all I watch is stuff that's already been done. You know.
But here's the issue that we've turned into, right?
Yeah.
We have too many options.
I agree with that.
That's not a bad thing. It sucks just trying. The idea of starting a show and hating it kills me.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get 4 episodes in and go, dang, this sucks. I just wasted 4 hours of my life.
Right.
But here's the thing about it. Everything is on all of the time.
Right.
There's never a point where, like, if you want to watch a show, you can find that show and you can watch it. It may cost you some money, but you can watch it. There's never.
Right. If I want to see a movie tonight, whatever it is, if I want to see The Graduate with Dustin Hoffman from 1967, I can go home and watch it.
Exactly. There is no reason for anybody to say there's nothing on TV.
But no, you're right about that.
Yeah.
But my generation, okay, when I was a kid, and this is like an old guy, young guy thing. But what was great about it was the television was like the centerpiece for the family, and we gathered around, and we all my friends who are of the same age, we all watched the same shows because that's what was on, and so we could say, "Oh, I saw that," and then we have that shared history. But now, my son or you may watch even more television than I do and never watch the same show.
Yeah.
So it's not, you don't have that cohesive thing.
I will say that's one downfall.
That's the downfall
that camaraderie with people.
Yeah.
Like when Seinfeld was on and there was people lined up in Times Square watching the final episode.
Right.
You're never going to get that again.
No, unfortunately.
You're never going to get it. But there's no reason to complain about content.
No, I don't think there's any reason to complain about content. I agree. You can find something that's on for sure. And like this writer's strike that's going on now, an actor's strike, I don't think anybody gives a flip and won't for 10 years. I could literally from shows that have been recommended to me, or if I could get the best 20 shows of the last 20 years, I probably hadn't seen 15 of them.
Yeah.
I could watch it for probably 10 years, or at least a few years.
all on one service. You could go watch the greatest shows on HBO and watch them all the way through. And
you're right.
Yeah.
The problem I have, the reason I think streaming is overrated, I mean, but that, you make a good point. There's always something on.
Yeah.
I think that they are charging you more now because I have all of them. You know, I have for Stranger Things, I have Netflix.
Yeah.
For whatever else, I have HBO Max. Sex and the City reboot.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
How's that going?
Great. Oh my God. She's back with Aiden. I couldn't be happier. I
wish I knew what you were talking about.
You never seen Sex and the City?
What?
You never seen
back
Sex
with Aiden?
Yeah,
you
don't see that. You should watch Sex and the City. It's rebooted now.
I think I'm gonna pass on that one.
You know what? You would probably be mad at that. That's a show where she really picked the wrong guy when it ended. But I was cheering for that guy. She picked the bad guy.
Which one am I? Which one am I?
You're neither of those.
None of them.
You're none of those.
None of them, because I know everybody has a comparison.
Oh, which of the Sex and the City girls?
Which of the Sex and the City girls am I?
Let me see here. Now I'm a Charlotte. I think you're probably a Miranda. You're feisty.
Okay.
Yeah, you're one of the. You're Miranda.
Is that Sarah Jessica Parker?
No, she's Carrie.
Okay, good.
You're Miranda. She's lesbian. So she is lesbian now. She wasn't lesbian.
Was that Marcia Gay Hard? No.
No, Cynthia Nixon. Cynthia Nixon is her name, and she was not gay when the show was on. In real life, she wasn't either. But now she has come around to being a lesbian in real life, and they've done that on the show.
Oh, nice. Okay, so
the point is, I have all of it. I have one for that Kevin Costner show. You know,
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus. I have one for Stranger Things, which is Netflix. So I'm paying as much or more than I was paying for cable. And I only watch it every so often. Do you know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
We have Disney Plus. I haven't turned it on in forever.
I know, right?
Apple TV Plus I have for Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
And it's
the only show on there.
I know. It's the only thing And another thing about streaming is, and I do believe this, In the old days, they'd take summer vacation off and you'd see the reruns. And then when it came back, you're like, okay, let's watch it. It goes away for a year and a half. And then when it comes back, I'm like, I'm not motivated to watch it anymore.
Yeah, that's like with Stranger Things. Like the new last season's coming out soon.
Forever.
And I'm like, I feel like I got to watch the whole show over again to really know what's going on. Because you watch it so quick.
Yeah.
You watch it so fast.
You watch it in a weekend and then you wait 2 years.
Yeah.
It's like I haven't seen the latest Ted Lasso yet, even though I love the show. I'm just not pumped to watch it.
Now, I will say the one thing about the number one thing I love about streaming services is the no commercials option.
That's a nice thing.
It's because I used to be like, it's not that big of a deal. My buddy got it, and I'm like, this is the way to go.
It's a nice thing.
It's the way to go.
My son is so privileged and so soft. He'll never hear this, so I can say it. We got my wife and I were going to watch some show on Hulu, but it was the last one we got. I guess it was the one with it was like the bleak ending to the world and you know what I'm talking, Handmaid's Tale.
Oh yeah, okay, I got you.
You ever seen that?
Never saw, but I've heard about it.
Very empowering for women like myself. So anyhow, I mean, you've got to rise up.
Yeah.
So we got it with commercials because it saved us $6 a month or whatever. So my son was watching something on there, and a commercial came. What is this? Oh my God! And it literally tells you in the corner of the screen 2 minutes. It'll count it down for you. You can mute it if you want to and
go to the bathroom,
go do something else.
Yeah.
What is going on? There's commercials here. Oh my God! This podcast we just did has commercials just shoved in there.
It does.
That's how we do it.
Absolutely.
We're going to shove them in on you. That's it for this week. This was a good one. I like this one.
Yeah.
You're going to come away from this one and say, my God, you had some hot takes. To me, that's what you're going to say.
Yes.
All right.
You're warming up for me.
I'm working on that. I really am.
Yeah.
Next week, we'll do this again.
Love it.
I've enjoyed it.
Love it.
You're not going to Arizona or anything?
No, dude, I'm going to be in town. I'm around.
I'll tell you about my kids' drop-off next week.
Yes, I want to hear about that.
The Square and the Round with Chris Kelly and BB Shea. Join us next week. Thank you.